Hi there, I just moved. So my old set that I did all my old videos in is no more. So for now, please enjoy this blank wall. A few years ago, I went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, and they had a Beetlejuice-themed haunted house. And after going through it and seeing how fun it was, I realized I'd never seen the movie before. So later that week, I watched it, and I thought it was really good. It had a good sense of humor and a good sense of style. Even if macabre, like Tim Burton's macabre style, isn't really my sort of thing. Even as a kid, I really didn't have any interest in stuff like The Nightmare Before Christmas, because that gothic death style just didn't appeal to me. But I respect the commitment to the style, so it's good to note that Beetlejuice's sequel, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, commits to the style just as hard. I thought it perfectly recaptured the spirit of the original. I just have to respect the sheer dedication to bringing back the same practical effects, the awesome makeup, costumes, set design. They were all spot on and brought back the feeling of that world perfectly. And really, it just feels good to see stuff like puppets and stop motion especially on the big screen again. I actually don't know if I'm old enough to have seen much on the big screen in the first place. Yeah, when I was a kid, it was mostly all CG on screen, so it just felt cool and surreal seeing stop-motion special effects on a big screen. I'd really like to see more of that in cinema, and it kind of sucks that the only reason I was able to see it now was because it was for a sequel to something that had the same effects. But you know what, just having it at all is great. Though I would still like to see some more in some more original projects, but I know that's a tall order. But while the style was really great, there were two things that were sort of lackluster a bit, and that's the story and some of the acting. For instance, Winona Ryder comes back as her old character Lydia Dietz, and I don't know if it's just been a couple of years since I've seen the original movie, and the fact that I've only seen it one time, but she feels less like Lydia and more like her Stranger Things character. I don't know, something about her acting just didn't quite click with me. It just felt like the same wide-eyed freaking out that she's been doing for a long time now. And Jenna Ortega's acting too felt a little bit half-baked. She just kind of was doing the same moping and doping throughout most of the movie, and then some freaking out towards the end. I'm sure both actresses were doing exactly what was asked of them by the director, but I just kind of wish what was asked was a little bit more interesting. Everybody else's performances were fantastic though. It was the same wacky weirdness that you would expect from Beetlejuice. Including, of course, from Beetlejuice himself, Michael Keaton. Although if you do compare his performance in the old to this one, it is notably less energetic.
You bunch of losers! You're working with a professional here!
Never seen that shit before in my life, or afterlife.
And I mean, obviously a lot of that is because of his age. Michael Keaton is just a lot older than he once was. So it's lucky that what was written for him was pretty funny here and there. I say here and there because the writing overall, when it comes to the humor, is a bit hit and miss. It's not too bad though. The lows are not super low. Like there were no jokes that were groaners or were painful to sit through. They were just kind of But every now and then they did catch me off guard with some jokes that were pretty daggum funny.
I swear on my dead mother's soul.
But while the comedy writing is pretty good, the story writing is another story. And another story. And another story, and another story. There's like 5 different movies in this one movie. So if you go watch this and you start to get interested in any one plot development, don't get too comfortable, because they'll get distracted from it for a long time, and when they do come back to it, it will end very abruptly. It's hard to pinpoint down any one main storyline in this. They all just kind of come and go very suddenly and very abruptly. It is not a very focused script in that regard. So it ends up making the first half of the movie seem like a whole lot of setup that is kind of boring here and there, but the second half of the movie, just one big journey through a Beetlejuice funhouse. So if the weight of the storylines just isn't that important to you, but a fun Tim Burton-y journey with plenty of dark humor sounds good to you, then you'll enjoy this movie. I know I enjoyed it. Even if it lacked some focus, it had plenty of style and it made me laugh. Well, those are just my thoughts after watching this movie. What'd y'all think? Agree? Disagree? Think I'm stupid? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you thought of this film. As for me, I say, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice Beetle me.
If you say his name 3 times, he will appear.
Also, weird side note, but this is not only the second movie this year with a big sandworm, it is also the second movie this year where you see on screen a woman give birth to a weird demon baby. Strange.